The year is 2006. The place is Afghanistan's Kajaki Dam, where a contingent of British soldiers has been deployed so that, in case of any disturbance, they can handle it. One of the soldiers goes down to take a bath in the river. When he comes out, the local children steal his clothes. He scolds them a lot, but in English, which they don't understand. When he sees the guns in their hands, he realizes it's better to leave. So, he returns to his base without clothes. After some time, a helicopter arrives, bringing supplies. All the soldiers open the packages, which contain goods sent by their family members. Seeing them, they become emotional and spend hours reading letters. Some sit alone, missing their loved ones. This is the life of a soldier. They never know when or where they will have to go. 2 days pass. Every night, the soldiers guard the area in this foreign country, observing any movement. One night, they notice a group of people arriving in a jeep with weapons. The soldiers immediately become alert. First, they needed to confirm if these were civilians. However, bullets suddenly start flying from the jeep. The soldiers realize the people are enemies, so they return fire. The exchange of gunfire continues all night, but no significant harm occurs to either side. In the morning, they notice enemies arriving again in a jeep. This time, they have some civilians with them, including some white civilians who appear to be reporters. The civilians are taken captive and brought to the middle of the road, where they're forced to stand. The enemies seem ready to shoot them. The soldiers prepare to fire but realize they are too far away. Shooting from such a distance would be inaccurate. They call their sniper, but he also cannot take a clear shot. Their senior officer decides to move closer and take aim from there to try to save the civilians. A group of soldiers is formed to go down while others stay above to provide cover. The group starts moving down slowly. Using walkie-talkies, they are guided from above about where to go and how to aim at the enemy. The senior officer leading the group tells his team to stop while he goes ahead to check for danger. Suddenly, there is a loud explosion. When the dust clears, it's revealed that the officer has stepped on a mine, blowing off one of his legs. The injured officer warns everyone to stay alert, but his condition is critical. The other soldiers immediately rush to him, terrified by what they see. They contact their base, reporting that one of their soldiers has been injured, and warn that the area is filled with mines. The medic arrives and carefully attends to the injured soldier. He administers morphine and gives him a cigarette to help him stay calm. The medic then assigns one of his teammates to check the surrounding area for more mines. The soldier nervously inspects the ground and thinks he spots a mine. However, upon closer inspection, it turns out to be a stone. Meanwhile, reinforcements from the upper base also come down to provide cover, as the area is entirely open. The soldiers realize that the enemies had deliberately mined this dry river path, knowing people would assume it was safe. There could be mines laid across the entire area. The process of calling a helicopter for evacuation is underway. It could arrive at any moment. After some time, the soldiers notice that the enemies start fleeing the area. Actually, he was not a reporter, but a dummy. This was either a pre-planned trap or something else. For now, everyone is in a panic. The soldiers from the base have come down, and some start searching for mines. However, this task is extremely dangerous. One small mistake, and it could all be over. They move forward cautiously, marking mine locations with red flags and clear paths with white flags to guide their movement. The area is vast, and clearing it completely could take months. Then, news comes in that a helicopter will arrive in just 10 minutes. However, the senior officer raises an important question. Even if the helicopter arrives, how will it land? The area is surrounded on all sides, and the current location is like a pit. Landing there safely is nearly impossible. The officer decides to move the injured soldier to the bank of the dry river, where the path is clearer, safer, and slightly elevated. The soldiers carefully carry the injured man on a stretcher, stepping only on the marked safe paths. However, during the process, one soldier steps in the wrong place. A loud explosion follows, temporarily deafening everyone. When the dust clears, the soldier who triggered the mine is found screaming in pain. Both of his legs are badly injured. The senior officer, closest to him, immediately contacts the base to report that another soldier is down. The medic reaches the injured soldier quickly, administers morphine, and works to stop the bleeding. By then, the helicopter arrives, but the soldiers are disheartened to see it is not a Black Hawk, which is small and suitable for tight landings. Instead, a much larger helicopter has been sent. Seeing the unsafe area, the soldiers release green smoke, signaling the pilot not to land. Despite this, the pilot lands the helicopter about 30 meters away, thinking he can save everyone. Unfortunately, the area where the helicopter lands is still mined. As the helicopter prepares to take off, the power from its rotors causes the stones on the ground to shake. One of the stones dislodges and falls onto a mine, triggering another explosion. This time, the blast injures 3 soldiers who are nearby. When the dust settles, it is revealed that one of the soldiers is severely injured. His hand is completely dislocated, and he is screaming in pain. The other 2 soldiers are less severely injured. The medic cannot immediately reach the worst injured soldier, as he is some distance away. Instead, one of the less injured soldiers is brought to safety with the help of a nearby soldier. The second less injured soldier is asked to stay and assist the severely injured soldier by acting as a temporary medic. Everything happens so quickly that no one fully understands what to do. Earlier, only 1 soldier was injured, but now the number has risen to 4. The second helicopter is still en route, and the soldiers must remain patient. Meanwhile, the soldier assisting the severely injured man is given instructions on how to stop the bleeding. Using his t-shirt, he ties a makeshift tourniquet around the wound, but he is not a trained medic. He fears he might do something wrong. The severely injured soldier screams in unbearable pain. The medic, nicknamed Thug, watches helplessly from a distance. Anger and frustration build inside him. Elsewhere, the soldier being carried to safety reports that he is struggling to breathe. He explains that his lungs are damaged, and there's a hole in them. He instructs his rescuers to use a pen to create an airway in his neck, so he can breathe. Though terrified, the soldiers have no choice. One of them gathers his courage and inserts the pen into his neck, allowing the soldier to breathe. However, this is only a temporary fix. He urgently needs medical assistance. Thug's frustration reaches its peak. As a medic, he cannot stand by and watch his comrades suffer. He decides to go to the severely injured soldier himself, even though it's incredibly risky. His senior officer gives him the green light, but warns him to listen carefully first. You throw your bag ahead and then jump on it. By doing this, you will reach him without getting hurt. He accepts the advice and moves forward, taking the name of God with every jump. He acts as instructed by his senior. Meanwhile, the others bring water for the injured soldier, which the soldier sitting nearby catches. However, when the second bottle is thrown, it falls a little distance away. Suddenly, there is another explosion. We learn that the soldier, who was fine earlier, is now injured. Even the medic is injured, his clothes torn, but he is still in a condition to move forward and help. All around the medic, there is only pain and the sound of wailing. The medic first helps the injured soldier, tying his torn leg to stop the bleeding. As there is only one medic in the team, the other injured soldier has to bandage his own leg. All the soldiers are in agony, and the medic, sitting nearby with no additional supplies, simply waits in the middle of the injured soldiers. From morning till evening, no helicopter reaches them. The medic has already used all his clothes to bandage the wounded soldiers, as the bandages have run out. He tries to give them hope, reassuring them that they will survive. Meanwhile, James tells the soldier sitting next to him that he might not make it. He asks him to tell his family that he was martyred fighting bravely, not as a coward. Thug, the medic, insists that nothing will happen to anyone and that they will all return home safely. He keeps encouraging them to stay strong. James is given glucose to drink through his mouth so that he can keep breathing. On the other hand, the soldier with the pen in his neck begins to deteriorate. Using a plastic object on such a wound has caused an infection. They carefully remove the pen, reassuring him that the helicopter is about to arrive. Everyone is in terrible condition, barely clinging to life. Meanwhile, soldiers at the topmost base notice that some people are keeping an eye on them, possibly the enemy. But amidst the despair, there is a ray of hope. The helicopter finally arrives. This time, it doesn't attempt to land, knowing the area is mined. Instead, it lowers stretchers from above. One by one, the injured soldiers are placed on the stretcher and lifted to safety. As the first stretcher is raised, the soldiers fear that another mine might explode, but nothing happens. Slowly, all the injured are taken away and immediately given oxygen. After some time, Thug discovers that he, too, had been sitting on a mine. Fortunately, the mine was damaged and didn't explode. He thanks God for sparing his life. In the final scenes, we see Thug sitting with his comrades. Eventually, all the soldiers return home safely. This story is based on a true incident. As shown in the movie, some real pictures of the soldiers are displayed at the end. It is also revealed that after 2006, some of these soldiers continue their service. With this, the story comes to an end. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.